Eddie Bravo, and you're watching Submissions 101.
I actually heard through Brandon Quick that there was a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu tourney in the works or in the future. And this is huge because in normal competition, there's so many techniques which are outlawed right now. Do you have any further information on these 10th Planet tourneys and what they'll kind of entail?
Yeah, I partnered up with some guys down in Texas who run tournaments down there, and we're going to start 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu Championships.
Okay.
And the rules are going to be a lot different. You know, first of all, we're going to do what the Brazilians did, and you're going to weigh in right before your first match. That's going to be your weigh-in.
Uh-huh.
And the points are just going to be totally different. It's going to be more about the submission than anything else. You know, getting to the three dead zones: the back, the truck, and spider web. You're going to get big points for that. No points for takedowns, no points for passing, no points for sweeping. You know, and I kind of ripped the pro submission league off with that. At first, I didn't like that. I was like, wait a minute, no points for sweeps or passing? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it. It's like that's part of the game anyway. It's like you don't get points for hitting a single or hitting a double, like in baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you don't get points for a first down in football. You know, and it makes scoring easier too, as well. You know, like there's so many times where there's all these scrambles going on, and you don't know if it's a sweep or what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's a scramble, and a guy ends up inside control, but he doesn't get the point for the pass because the ref didn't think he really passed, or whatever. Or it's hard to really keep track of sweeps sometimes. There's like mad scramble. So that's not even important. I think it's more important that we're going to get 2 points for the mount, 4 points for the back, 4 points for the truck, 4 points for spider web. If you have someone cinched in a triangle or a dart for 3 seconds or an arm triangle and then they escape, that's 6 points. That's 5 points. That's worth more than having someone's back with the hooks. And having someone in a submission like a cinched triangle but they escape, you get 5 points for that. And what else? And the overtime, if it's tie,
yeah,
the overtime is going to be kind of crazy. The overtime is going to be 2 minutes of two, and then the first round, one guy gets a choice of the back, the truck, or spider, and he has to finish him within 2 minutes.
Huh.
If he finishes him in a minute, let's say he finishes him in a minute, then the next 2 minutes overtime round, that guy gets to pick the truck, spider web, or the back, and he has to finish the guy under a minute to win.
Oh, wow.
Or just the fastest submission from one of those dead zones.
Huh.
If nobody submits, and the time is over, the 2-minute round is over once the guy escapes the dead zones, once he's like back in full guard or half guard or even the mount, it's done. So if he escaped in a minute. Next guy goes, he can't pull off a submission, the guy escapes as well. So whoever escapes fastest wins.
Wow, that's totally unique. It kind of reminds me of some types of wrestling where they start like the next round or whatever, one guy on all fours and then the guy's on his back.
Bottom, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That would be really unique for submission grappling. Wow.
Yeah.
You often say that your students are mad scientists on the mat, and this makes your jiu-jitsu unique from other styles because of this open-mindedness. Now, there have been many tweaks and additions to the system since releasing your books, Mastering the Rubber Guard and Mastering the Twister. Have you started thinking about an updated book with these variations and new moves in them?
Absolutely. That's all in the future, you know, for sure. Every book's going to have the latest versions of stuff. There's more books coming.
Okay. Someone wanted to know when the last time Eddie Bravo was tapped.
I tap a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a myth that you know, if you're not tapping, you're not rolling with your students. Or you're 250 pounds and you're just right there with everybody and you're a black belt. You know, I get tapped. I got tapped last week.
Yep.
I got the heel.
Can you specifically describe some of the holes you see in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whether it be positioning or control, and or lack of submissions?
It's just the gi. It's just the same thing I've been saying all along. I always use guard examples of why the gi creates bad habits for no gi, but it's really everywhere. You know, I mean, in every position, if you're passing the guard and you guys are wearing gis and you're passing the guard and you're using the collar and the sleeve to pass the guard, to help you pass the guard, then you're not practicing no gi passing. If you're on your back and you're using your opponent's sleeve or collar to prevent the pass, then you're not practicing no-gi guard passing defense. If you're using the gi to, hold the mount and set up submissions from the mount, you're not practicing no-gi ways to set up submissions from the mount. It just goes on and on. You know, if you're using the gi to control someone while you're on their back, then you're not practicing no-gi back attacks.
Okay.
You know, it's just, if you're using the gi to sit up and defend leg locks by holding the collar, you're not practicing leg lock defense no-gi style. If you're using the gi to prevent chokes by grabbing your own collars and preventing chokes, you're not practicing no-gi defense. You know, so it's everywhere. The problems are everywhere. I just talk about the guard, but that's where it's the most obvious. But now it's everywhere. You know what I mean? You have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts not being able to pass guard on certain guys, where a guy like Matt Hughes will pass the guy's guard easily, like butter. Look at Sean Shirk's passing.
Yeah.
Sean Shirk's passing is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think Sean Shirk's passing is at least the best in the UFC. At least, maybe the best, but at least excuse me, he's definitely top 5 passing. He might be the best. Sean Shirk, he's not a gi jiu-jitsu guy. He's just always practicing passing using no gi grips and no gi handle. Totally different, you know. So then you just pay attention to the passing. It's harder and harder for these gi guys to pass, and it's busy. So how do you stay in the guard now? And when they get to the mount, there's really not that many submissions going on. They're just like getting to the mount and then they're punching. There's not really any like strategy in submissions. It's like if the arm is there, they're going to take that wide open arm, but they're just going to start punching instead of strategically setting up submissions from the mount. You just don't see it. You just don't see it as much. So it's still the problem. It's always been the problem. That'll never change.
What about like Marcelo Garcia, one of the best grapplers on the planet right now? I remember seeing an interview with him talking about he trains in gi like 6 days a week, and then he does his no gi 1 day a week.
He has a lot of respect for the gi.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's the greatest grappler out there, but I don't agree with that. You know, I think he thinks that the gi makes you more technical. I think he thinks that, but I don't agree with him. You know, I think that he's really good when he practices, when he's in the gi, he's practicing most of his techniques are techniques that are no gi. So essentially when he's practicing with the gi, he's practicing no gi too. And he tells me he trains with the gi, no gi all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're saying. He says he trains with the gi. You know, his training partner told me that he trains hour and a half with the gi, an hour and a half without the gi every day. So he's training no gi every day. You know, and he did what I did. I was training with the gi, but I was practicing no gi techniques.
Right.
You know, on the gi, I wasn't relying on the collar so much. You know what I mean? And he's playing X-guard all the time with the gi. X-guard translates no gi beautifully.
Yep.
You know, we know that. So, you know, what are you going to do?
So, on that note, Twister DVD is in the works. We're not sure when it's going to be coming out because we know you're a busy guy. But probably in the next year, do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably within the next 6 months.
Okay. And that's about it. So just want to thank you for sitting down with us and doing this for us, man.
Awesome. Thank you.